Okay, well, I just got this Grizzly 2 horsepower dust collector. It is the G0548ZP model. So it's the Polar Bear series. I think in this series, really the only difference between this and the normal one is the white paint. So I suspect that some smart guy got a deal on white paint as opposed to colored paint, and said, "Hey, we can save 50 cents or $1 on each model we sell," and they went for it. And now they call it the Polar Bear series because it's white. So there's nothing difference between the Z and the ZP model as far as I can tell on this. So anyway, it's got as I mentioned, it's a 2 horsepower ball door motor on there. It does have a cast aluminum recurve fan in there, and it's got a pleated 1 micron filter with that shaker deal that helps remove dust from the filter. I did quite a bit of looking and research on between these pleated 1 micron filters and HEPA systems. One of the things that convinced me that 1 micron would probably be okay is actually analyzing the dust fractions from most common woodworking instruments, and they don't produce much or hardly any dust below 2.5 microns. Is somewhere. It depends on the machine. Sanders do sometimes, but most cutting tools don't. The other thing is, if you look at that Wen website, the one that sells conversion kits for these things, and then look at the efficiency of unseasoned and seasoned filters, basically by the time this thing gets 3-4 hours of use on it, the largest pores are already filled with sawdust to the point that you get incredibly high efficiency and particle retention on the filter. So, barring that first little bit of time, it's not really going to make much difference. I know that there's people that are going to take issue with that, but it doesn't concern me too much. So a little bit of dust exposure is not going to hurt you. Those limits, well, unless you're allergic to the dust that you're working with, that might be one case where it would hurt you. But those limits that are the NIOSH limits are 8-hour exposure, day after day kind of limits, and the majority of us home woodworkers don't have that kind of exposure. Anyway, we're only in there for an hour or two in a day, on the weekends or whatever. So if it was a production situation, that's different, anyway, I think that this is going to be plenty fine. The machine went together fine. The only complaint was that there was some over painting in the thread connections, and there was some paint built up or something in the corners on the inside, like right on the inside of here and on the inside of here, so that when I tightened this down, it made this like cracking. I could hear the paint cracking. There is a gasket in between here, but I think the paint was sticking out farther than the gasket and compressing and making that crackling sound. So maybe you could call that a quality issue if you wanted to on that. But other than that, it went together fine. Instructions were fine. Not that you really need them for something like this, but the other thing that I would give a double thumb down on is this bag holding system. They have some hooks here that are supposed to kind of latch onto the bag and hold it up while you try and get this band on. For me, that did not work whatsoever. Every time I touched the bag with the hoop trying to get it on there, it fell off one of the hooks and slid down beneath my hoop. I eventually just went and got some tape and, you know, taped it up in 4 spots around there to get the bag on. I hope I don't have to change the bag a whole lot with this thing, because it is a real pain. I can hardly do it by myself without tape. So anyway, I really like that Delta, I think it's the Delta system, where they have some sort of thing that goes up on the inside and presses out against the ring to hold the bag on. I think that's a really super slick and easy system. I've used it a couple times at woodworking stores like Johnson's Workbench or, you know, Woodcraft or whatever. Yeah, I don't like that bag holding system at all. I wish they would redesign that. And it wouldn't be hard. I mean, all you'd have to do is make a clip or something like that that was more secure than this, and it would probably be fine, but that's a pain in the butt. So expect that if you buy this. I still think it's a good buy. It was only $450. When I went on to the woodworking review sites, they published some independently measured flow fan curves, and I think it was this one and I think the Delta. I can't remember which two were the best, but that recurve fan that they have in this thing really kept a lot of static pressure, kept a lot of flow rate at higher static pressure drops. So anyway, I think it'll be fine. I may end up designing like a 2-stage system for this collector so that I don't have to empty that bag, because that is going to be a pain. So anyway, I will do another review if something doesn't work right when I turn this thing on, but otherwise just assume that it works fine and as intended. So I guess till next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.